They tried to turn me into a tenant in my own home, but in the end I made them pay rent. When I first bought this place, it was peaceful, just a small house surrounded by open land. 2 years later, shiny new homes popped up all around me, and with them came the one thing I didn't ask for, an HOA. At first, I didn't care. I figured, let them play their little rule games while I mind my own business. But then the letters started coming in. Your paint color doesn't meet community standards. I laughed and tossed it aside. Then another came about my fence being too tall. And then came the threats and fines, penalties, warnings. But the final straw came one morning when I found a giant envelope taped to my door. Inside was a notice of fine, $15,000. Why? For installing solar panels on my own roof without their permission. That was the day I decided the game had to change. I started digging through everything. Old boxes, dusty paperwork, digital archives, and county records. And that's when I found it, the golden ticket. When I first bought this property, I didn't just buy the land my house sits on. I also purchased the rights to the primary water well and the underground pipeline running through the area. What that meant was shocking. Every single drop of water that their community used for fountains, pools, and lawns technically flowed through my property rights. So on Monday morning, I made my move. First, I mounted a big sign on the HOA office gate that read, "Private utility access. Unauthorized use strictly prohibited." Next, I filed an official notice with the city stating that illegal water use would result in litigation. And finally, I installed an electronic lock on the main pipeline. From that moment on, no water would flow without my approval. By noon, the HOA president stormed up my driveway, waving that $15,000 fine letter in my face, shouting that what I was doing was illegal. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Illegal? You've been using my water for years. Pay rent or stay thirsty." They tried to lawyer up, but the moment those deed records and water rights hit the table, their whole case collapsed. Today, that same HOA pays me a monthly utility fee just to keep their community running. And that $15,000 fine notice? It's framed on my hallway wall, right next to a picture of the pipeline. Across the top, I engraved two simple words, "Game over." So if you ever think an HOA holds all the power, remember this. Sometimes, the strongest weapon isn't a lawyer or a loud voice, and it's an old piece of paper that everyone else forgot about.